Hey folks, welcome to our next exit. This video is all about our expenses for February 2020. And the month of February, we spent the whole month boondocking down just north of Yuma at Imperial Dam. We live full-time in our Class A Monaco 42-foot Camelot. We don't have any debt at all. Our motorhome's paid for, our car is paid for. We purchased a membership in Thousand Trails, which is a campground membership group that owns 81 campgrounds around the country. And we get to stay in those campgrounds for free. We spend about 90% of our time in Thousand Trails, so 90% of the time we pretty much camp for free. If you want to know more about Thousand Trails, I put a link up here to a video explaining a little bit about Thousand Trails. And that being said, we put all of our expenses in this spreadsheet, with the exception of we don't put any gifts or charity contributions that we make. And we have a storage shed in Las Vegas, Nevada. We didn't downsize our stuff. We put it all in storage. And we're looking for a winter home to purchase. That's one thing we're doing down here in southern Arizona. We're going to start wintering down here, I think, and then traveling in the summer. And so we're looking to see what kind of opportunities is in the housing market or the RV park model market, or just what. We're not sure. But except for those few items, everything else is in the spreadsheet. So this ought to give you a good example of a place to start to figure out what it might cost you if you're thinking about retiring and living the RV lifestyle. If you want a copy of this spreadsheet, you can email me at boborpearl@gmail.com. Here's our email address, and in the subject line put expense report, and I'll send you a copy of this spreadsheet. We've got a couple other spreadsheets been sent out about Thousand Trails and about Social Security. If you want to watch those videos, you can list those also if you want those spreadsheets. So let me explain a little bit about the spreadsheet. This column here is going to be all of our monthly expenses. This column right here is going to be what we spent for the last 12 months, the rolling 12 months. So in this case, it's for February 2020 all the way back to March of 2019. And then this column right here is going to be that total divided by 12 to give you an average of what we spend each month. And we've been doing this for 33 months. And so the spreadsheet goes all the way back from when we first started in June. And as you can see here, the spreadsheet goes all the way back to when we started in June of 2017, all the way up. So this column here is that total divided by 33 to give you an average of what we've averaged a month for the last 33 months. This includes all of our expenses for our YouTube channel, buying our cameras, buying the drone. I've made several bonehead mistakes and had maintenance done and repairs done. That's all in here. You hopefully won't make the same stupid mistakes I make, but you're probably going to make some of your own stupid mistakes. Hopefully not as expensive as ours. But everything we spent is in here. So let's kind of start the spreadsheet. We drove 195 miles the month of February. We spent the last part of January up in Casa Grande, just outside of Phoenix, and we spent the first night of February at Casa Grande. So one night there, and then we moved down to Imperial Dam to boondock for the next 28 days. So we have one night in the Thousand Trails collection, and then we have 28 nights in February boondocking. So when we left Imperial Dam, we filled up at the Love's right outside of Yuma, and we bought 82 gallons for $253. And we drove 300 miles from our last fill up in January to this one in February. And our RV gets right at 7 miles to the gallon. We have a computer, our Cummins engine figures up how much fuel we're using for all the time in our engine. And it comes right at 7 miles to the gallon. So we divided the 300 miles that we drove since our last fill up by 7, and we figured that we put 42 gallons we burned through the diesel engine. And then our generator, we have an Onan 10K generator, and it says right here that our generator burns 0.33 gallons per hour under a light load just running, and under half load it burns 0.54 gallons, at a full load 0.78 gallons. So what we used is 0.4 gallons because some of it was running the microwave and convection oven and stuff. And we used the hour meter. We wrote down the hour meter every morning before we started the generator to see how much we used. And we used it 2.8 hours a day for a total of 77.7 hours for the 28 days we were there. To the generator. And then our AquaHot, the paperwork on that says it burns 0.4 gallons an hour. So we're using the same 0.4, and it has an hour meter on it as well. We ran it for 18.7 hours, so we're allocating 7.5 gallons, and we're going to put that diesel fuel cost in our campsite fees. And you can see that here. We start at the top. Every month we put our annual dues for 1,000 Trails. We have 1,000 Trails, Trails Collection, and RPI parks that we pay annual dues on. And we divide that total annual dues by 12 and allocate that much into each month, which the total of those three is $992, so we put $83 in each month. And then on top of that, our boondocking at Imperial Dam, that cost us $40 for 14 days, so we had to get 2 of those permits, so that's $80 to do the boondocking at Imperial Dam. Now you can boondock around there for free, but at Imperial Dam it's a long-term visitors area, and what that does is it gives you, you can stay in one spot. Regular BLM land you got to move every 14 days. If you have a permit you can stay in the same spot. And then they provide drinking water, and they have a place to dump your trash, and then they have a sewer dump so you can dump your tanks. So it's just real easy to just drive up there, dump, get fresh water, and come back to your spot. We had a great spot. We had a huge area where everybody was far away. We could run our generator without bothering the neighbors. Most of the people had solar, but we didn't have solar. We've got our generator and then a couple of small portable solar panels and our portable power station. We have a 500 watt Jackery and a 1800 watt Delta, and so we use those as well as our batteries. So for the month we had $83 our monthly allocation for dues. We have $80 we paid to the BLM for a campsite, $93 in diesel, and then our Escapees membership. That's where we have our roadside assistance and several things that Escapees gives us. That's $38 a month. That was due, so we paid that this month. So we allocated $201 into camping sites, and that averaged out to $6.93 a night. One thing I want to point out that we also do here on these sections, we figure up our average cost of diesel fuel per day for each month. So this month we spent $3.55 a day average on diesel fuel. Since we've been RVing, the last 12 months we've been averaging $10.80 a day in diesel fuel, and for the whole 3 years we've been averaging $11.10. So you can see we didn't spend a lot on diesel fuel just simply because we didn't drive a lot. This next row is a new line that we just added in. This is our cost of diesel fuel per miles driven, and it's just taking our cost of diesel fuel divided by our miles to see how much it costs for each one of those miles. And as you can see, we're averaging right at 50 cents a mile, and that kind of boils down to the price of diesel. And like here it was $1 a mile for this 400 miles, but we filled up twice, and then sometimes we'll fill right up at the end of the month, and that diesel price goes into that month, but really we burn it all the next month. So some of these will be a little out of whack. Here's 11 cents to make it up, $1.1972, 0. But it's a number I think that'll serve you well. I think holds true is if you have a big motorhome, it's going to cost you right around 50 cents a mile to drive that across the country. Just a rough number to use if you want to. And then, as I mentioned with our 1,000 Trails, this line here, This row here is how much we spend on average per night for a campground. Usually we're free, camping for free. If there's somewhere special that we want to go and there's not 1,000 trails, we go instead of KOA or whatever might be there. And so it costs more. But on average, we've spent the last 12 months right at $11, $10.90. But in the last 3 years, we've averaged $8.39 a night for campsites. Motorhome repairs. Oh, we changed the oil and we greased it. Our Cummins engine takes 6 gallons of oil. The oil filter we got from Love's here in Yuma. So we changed the oil and the oil filter, and then we did a grease job while we were out there in the desert. $135. You can see we averaged $672 for the last 12 months for maintenance, and for the 3 years, $800 a month. Now we've had some bad luck, so I'm thinking if you have a big Class A motorhome, $500 you need to set aside for a month for maintenance. Just a number to start with. If you got a newer one, maybe less. If you got an older one, maybe more. For our auto, we had $62 for gas, and then car wash, $10. And as I mentioned before, you can look across here and see how much we paid for the last 12 months, how much we average per month over the last 12 months, how much we average per month since we've been full-time RVing. RV, auto, and umbrella insurance. We have our full-time RV insurance costs us $1,550 a year, and our automotive insurance costs us $834 a year. And then we have an umbrella policy that costs us $286 a year. We add those up, divide by 12, and we put $223 a month for insurance. Groceries, liquor.
You gotta pick up one of those and see if it's
Groceries, everything that we spend in the grocery store goes in here. So that's food, that's liquor, that's paper supplies, cleaning supplies, virtually anything that Pearl buys in a store. In a grocery store goes in here. So this number seems big to a lot of folks, and it does to me, but it's because there's extra stuff that's just not worth making line items for all the different things. So we've been averaging the last 12 months $960 and $900 for the last 3 years. And the reason that's a little bit smaller here because we had stuff left over from our boondocking with all of our friends last month. If you hadn't seen those videos, I'll put a link up here to that playlist. We had a great time in boondocking with 5 or 6 of our YouTube friends. Dining out, $185. Internet and cell phone, real quick. We have 2 cell phones, cell phone apiece. We have a jet pack that is 15 gigabytes of high-speed internet, and then it's throttled back to next to nothing. And then we also purchased, that's on contract and it expires pretty soon, and we'll probably end that. And then we have an unlimited jet pack that is $65 a month. That plan's not available anymore, but it works great if you were lucky enough to pick one up. $65 a month for unlimited data. And then I have a smartwatch with that I put on the Verizon plan, and it's $10 a month. So that averages $229 for our internet and cell phones. DirecTV, $94. Medical, real quick. We have we pay $145 for our Part B Medicare each, and we pay $13 each for our Part D. That's our prescription drug plan for Medicare. And then we have a Medigap. That's that Plan G that covers all the deductibles and everything that Medicare doesn't pick up. That's $125 for Pearl and $131 for me. So that totals $572. Pet care was nothing. The dog food we would have bought in the grocery store this month apparently, and she needs to be groomed, and we're taking her next Wednesday, so that'll be in next month's. Recreation and hobby, just tourist stuff there. Computer. I use Quicken financial software. I have owned Microsoft Money and Quicken for the last 20 years and done all our financing with that, but they've gone to a annual subscription model, and they discontinued the old Quicken. So I had to go into their annual subscription. I bought a 2-year thing of that. So that was 60 bucks. But it works great if you're trying to track your finances. I highly recommend Quick, and we have a link down below in our details thing. If you click on that, more details, it'll give you a link to that if you're interested. Nothing for clothing, nothing for mail. So our total was $27.20. We averaged $42.52 a month for the last 12 months and $42.18 for the last 3 years. Annually, $51,000 for the last 12 months. For the last 3 years, $50,600. So for living this lifestyle, using 1,000 trails and allocating for having, I mean, my hobby is YouTube and taking the cameras and videos, and there's a fair amount of money in there that we spend on that. But you're going to have some kind of hobby. You may be spending more time out doing, you know, whatever it may be, golfing or something. But allocating for that, allocating for maintenance, we had a $10,000 maintenance in February of 2019. You know, that bumped everything up. You take all that out, that lowers it down a lot, but you can't really take that out because you're going to have things you're going to spend just like we do. It seemed like to me, $40,000 gets you in the game. $50,000 is a pretty comfort level. And a lot of folks, we've got some friends, Mark and Sue. Their channel is Our Journey in Miles, and they spend a lot. Their expense report is a lot like ours, with 2 exceptions. They spend $1,000 a month, like we average for campsite fees, $250 since we've been doing this. They're about $1,000 more than us on campsite fees, and then their recreation, we average $200 a month on recreation. They're $1,000 above us on that, so that's $2,000 a month more. Living in, you know, staying in KOAs and going and doing a lot more touristy things. They get out and do a lot of fun stuff. And that's about $25,000 a year more, which they put out a spreadsheet. I'll put a link up here for Our Journey in Miles. Their budget is right at, I mean, their expenses are right at $75,000. And then we have another couple, I'm Not Lost, I'm RVing. They're spending like 35 or 40, I think 40 is right where they're at. So they're at 40. They're a little bit, they do a lot of boondocking, and they're doing a pretty frugal expense budget. We're at 50, and then Mark and Sue, they're up at 75. So if you kind of depending on whichever route you're going, there's 3 good examples to give you an idea. And both those other channels put out good videos on their expenses. So that pretty much covers it. I know it's kind of a quick video. I went kind of quick. I got some stuff to do. We got to get going. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want a copy of this spreadsheet, it's not these numbers. It's our 2018 numbers, I think. But I can send that to you. And then it's got a second tab that's all blank. You can put in your budget numbers and kind of come up with a number you think it might cost you. So I hope that helps you. Until we see you again, keep your wheels rolling. Stay safe. We'll see you at the next exit. So long, folks.